please subscribe to help you and your motorcycle perform better.
My name is Dave Moss. I tune approximately 3,500 bikes per year. This is Two Click Sound.
Now steal the microphone master.
Here's a preview.
And all my buddies are telling me just to readjust the suspension for my size anyway. I feel like I'm a little too forward.
Okay.
It's kind of heavy on my wrists. I have a 750, my suspension's all adjusted on that, and I'm not as heavy forward, so I just figured I'd see what you can do. And
how many miles are on it?
19,000. 16,000.
Okay. Do you know if the forks or the shock have been serviced?
No, I do not.
Okay, so the interval's 8 to 10,000.
Okay.
So I think we're a little overdue.
Okay.
So the settings I will give you will reflect the age of the oil.
Okay.
So at that point over winter,
I just got an oil change, maybe like less than 200 miles.
For the engine?
Yes.
So the suspension fluid.
Okay.
If you left your engine oil in all the time, how would it work?
Yeah, very true.
So over the winter, if you can get the fork and shock fluid changed,
okay.
The settings I give you now will work up until that time.
Okay.
When you get it changed, then we need a minor reset.
Okay.
Based on the new oil.
New oil, yeah, okay.
Because
that get put in there and all that.
Yeah, because it's oil.
Yeah.
So obviously it wears out.
Yep.
So the part there becomes with new oil. Okay. Its cold to hot variance is minimal.
It's small, yeah, makes sense.
So at this point, you're riding around on a lava lamp.
Okay.
It's harsh, it's brutal, it warms up and it gets better and then it gets to be harsh again.
Yeah.
Okay. So the one thing about these bikes that needs replacing immediately is fork springs because they're really, really progressive. So you are at 50 millimeters in the front of sag because of the fork springs. Now, because you go to the track, a stock street spring on this bike is detrimental. On my 09, all I did was change the fork spring. Done. Okay. Never spent any more money on the suspension other than servicing. And that was my coaching bike. And that was the only money I ever put into this bike other than fork and shock oil changes. Okay. Loved it. Brilliant bike. So the numbers for the textbook gives you is 30 to 40. But you'll find even if we crank all that tension in on the spring, we'll never get 40. Because the spring, you just keep crushing the spring because it's so soft. And you don't reach the point where then the spring actually gets a lot firmer. Kind of every bike's got his Achilles heel, and on this bike it's just fork springs.
Okay. You tuned it like 3-4 years ago, and then I haven't gone to the track since, so I just loosened it up to ride it on the road. I did change the fork springs to the one that you recommended.
Okay, good.
And I did change fork oil, and I haven't really ridden it since. Haven't really.
So since it was last tuned, how many miles have you put on it?
Maybe about 250.
Yeah, so nothing.
Yeah.
All right, sit on it. Let's see where we're at, and then we'll check because I want to make sure with the sag on the front because you got the proper springs in that it's where it's supposed to be.
Catch the full video at DaveMossTuning.com. Dave Moss can tune your suspension no matter where you are on the planet via his remote tuning service. Contact Dave on Facebook or by email, dave@DaveMossTuning.com.